Georgia May Wilkinson Bishel, or Georgia Bishel as she prefers, is a native of Grand Island, Nebraska, where she spent much of her life before moving south to Hastings. Georgia had a fairly normal childhood despite growing up in a very low-income family. When she wasn't at school, she was playing outside with her neighborhood friends.
It was, I guess, normal growing up. I was in a part of a family that was a very low income, but I was not aware of that.
Picnics on Sunday afternoons were one way the family spent time together, which is one of Georgia's favorite memories growing up.
Maybe some of our special experiences were on Sunday evenings, or often on Sunday, or usually in the afternoon or evening. My parents would take us on picnics, and I suppose those were some of that type of pleasure, because Dad usually got something special for us, such as big coconut cookies.
One thing that Georgia loved was going to school despite the 1-mile walk each day.
School was always my favorite place.
As Georgia neared high school, she knew she wanted to teach. During that time, students could take a state teaching exam that would allow them to teach right out of high school.
I really had planned in this little high school, we could take teachers' exams. They were called state teachers' exams, and teach right out of high school or have some normal training. That was my plan.
However, things didn't go as planned. One afternoon at her grandmother's house in 1936, Georgia was reading a catalog and stumbled upon an advertisement for a $5 college scholarship.
One time I read at my grandma's and read in the catalog, Montgomery Ward catalog, that they had a scholarship to offer. And so right away I was interested. And my family said, well, you couldn't get a scholarship. I said, I'm going to send it in anyway, so I did.
Georgia received the scholarship, allowing her to go to college, something she had always hoped for. She attended Wayne State College in Wayne, Nebraska, for 2 years.
With that and the Montgomery Ward money, I was able to go to school, which was, almost unbelievable for me.
She graduated in 1938, and then she received her first teaching placement at a small, modern country school out in Burt County.
The only one they gave me, and that was early in the year, was to a country school in Burt County. And I went to be interviewed and could have the job for $54 a month, which was quite a high salary.
Bishel then moved to another school in Iowa where she would teach during World War II.
And that certainly was a time I will never forget. On Pearl Harbor Day, I can remember exactly what I was doing when I heard I was at my school. It was on a Sunday, and it was before Christmas, and I was getting everything out, and so on for Christmas. And the people where I stayed called to tell me, because I had no radio or anything. And that was a very difficult time for everyone.
A few years later, after spending time with her sister in Washington, D.C., her mother informed her that the Federal Bureau of Investigations was coming to Grand Island looking for people to work for them.
I said, well, the FBI is asking people to come and be interviewed for jobs, and they're in Grand Island. So, well, I thought I might as well go to Grand Island. They lived in Hastings then. So, and we took buses to Grand Island. So I went to Grand Island and had an interview. And I said to the man, what chance is there of being hired? He said 99%.
Georgia did not hear back for some time, almost forgetting about the job, so she went back to teaching. One day at school, however, she received a wire saying she was to report to the FBI offices in Washington, D.C. It was much like any office job, but it was big. Georgia typed the fingerprint cards of any service member or employee that worked for the government.
I typed those cards for 3 months, and I was older then than some of the 17-year-old girls, and I was really serious and would get way beyond my quota. We were on quota.
After her 3-month run, she got a call that she was going to be transferred because she was such a good typist. She would then work in the communications department located in the main FBI building. In 1946, after spending 2 years with the FBI, Georgia returned to Hastings where she would begin to take care of her ill mother. After waiting until the next fall, Georgia knew she was ready to return to her passion, teaching.
We knew a teacher, or my folks knew a teacher that here in Hastings, and when she knew I was going to come back, she said, well, you can apply here, you'll be able to get a job. So I went to see if possible.
The moment she entered the school, she was reminded of just how much she loved teaching and being with kids.
But the day that I walked into that building, it was just like going into my building where I taught in Iowa. It was not that time had lapsed when I had been gone. I just felt so at home, and I certainly was thankful always for my opportunity to be able to teach children in Hastings.
Georgia would retire from teaching in 1984 but has managed to stay busy and active. She is an active member of Grace United Methodist Church, as well as belonging to the South Central Nebraska Czech Society. Many may wonder what the secret to living for 96 years is, but for Georgia, there is no secret.
I don't know that there is a secret. I think maybe I just can't say what the secret of it just seems that the years have come and I've lived my life the best I can and handled what's come. And then I've been fortunate. I've had a few serious illnesses, but I've had good health. And I don't know how people can control that. How do I know? Maybe I could have cancer tomorrow. I could have had it 35 years ago, but it has not touched me, and I don't know how to really answer that because I've tried to live a healthy life and take care of each day, the things that have come my way.